going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name's Daniel Williams. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of taxidermy, fixing a split ear on a deer. If y'all never been to the channel before, I really appreciate y'all coming by. I welcome y'all, and y'all don't forget to hit that subscribe button down on the bottom if y'all like what you see. Go to my taxidermy playlist if y'all want to see some other taxidermy videos. We've got a bunch of them on there. A little bit of hunting and fishing stuff on here. But anyway, really appreciate y'all stopping by. Okay, what we've got today, I've got a deer that's got a split ear on it. And I've never done a split ear video before. This boy brought me this deer. He's one of the subscribers, been watching on here, probably watching this video right now. His name is Jackson. Jackson, I really want to say, hey, appreciate you bringing me your deer by. And today we're gonna fix your deer up and get him looking good. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna fix this ear, and we're gonna go ahead and mount the deer, and I may video that and stick it in fast motion. We'll just see how he turns out at the end. But on this ear, y'all can see that where I split the ear and turned it inside out, it's got a little bit of tearing on it right here. A lot of that is caused from the rip in the ear is several years old, and it was fully remodeled. It was completely healed up. And what happens is sometimes that cartilage will start to grow almost into the hair follicles. You can see right here, if you look really closely, where those hairs pulled through the skin when I was turning that ear. And that's fairly common, especially in a place where it's ripped like that. And it's got some cartilage build up where the two sides have almost become connected, and you almost can't separate them anymore. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen, you know, fairly often with a split ear. Sometimes if they're freshly ripped or have just started to reconnect, they come right back apart really easily. But I'm going to show y'all how to fix this up when this happens, because y'all are probably going to run into it. What I'm going to use to stitch up the edges of these, I'm going to try to get it stitched up enough to where we can cut up an ear liner to make it fit, and then put that ear liner in there. And I'm going to be using this transparent thread. It's called Coach Transparent. It's a polyester thread. And basically, it looks like tiny, tiny, tiny fishing line. If any of y'all do any fly fishing and know what tippet is, this looks just like tippet. It's very, very fine, very tiny. I mean, almost thinner than spider web, and it's got a little bit of stretch to it, almost elastic. It's great for sewing up ears and anywhere around the nose, places where you don't want the thread to appear, and it's got enough stretchiness in it for when we put those ear liners in there. It's got a little bit of give so that you can get that in there in position, and then it'll kind of draw it back shut. Now, I will have an Amazon link in the description below to where y'all can go in here and y'all can buy some of this thread. I think it's about between $5 and $6, something like that. And it's 400 yards. This right here will probably last you the rest of your life. And it is so much cheaper than buying fly line tippet. So like I fly fish, and of course all the fly fishing guys are like, man, I ain't using my tippet. Well, that's me. I'm not using my tippet to stitch up a deer head. This is way cheaper, and this will last me from now on. What I am going to do, rather than using this larger cape needle that I'm normally using, cut those big holes, I'm going to use this tiny little needle that I've got stuck in the top of this thread spool right here. Similar to what you use to attach buttons or something onto a shirt, just a tiny, tiny little needle, because you want those holes to be as small as possible. That ear skin is so soft and thin that it's going to rip really easy if you're not careful. So anyway, let's get started fixing this ear up. Part of the trick right here is just trying to get this line through this tiny little needle, which even picking the needle up is not easy. Goodness gracious. All right, there we go. I'm going to be doing this a little bit differently than what you'd normally do. Usually when I stitch, I'll have this turned inside out on any other part of the deer and be stitching from the inside. But what I want to do is make sure that these hairs along the edges stay out away from that leather. So I'm just going to try to go in and grab that leather with this needle and make a stitch right up the very edge to where those hairs still make that edge right there. I'm going to start on this very end here. Move this over to where I can get this against a darker background here so I can see. Make no mistake, this is not easy to do. Just trying to see this thread is hard. I need me some of those magnifying glasses. All right. Got all this tape wrapped around my fingers so that I can press on my cape needle when I'm stitching up the back of the neck of the deer, but it's not helping a whole lot with this needle stabbing in the end of my finger. Need to go get a thimble. All of this is so tiny. If you just take your time on it and get it done right, then you shouldn't be able to see anything that was wrong with it. I don't know if y'all saw what I just did there. If you get down in this thicker parts of this ear, these little cone-shaped needles don't like to go through leather very good. But you can put them down a piece of wood like this. Just tap into the wood with a hammer or a pair of pliers or whatever. I use a pair of pliers in case I need to pull on the needle. But it'll stick in that wood when you pull up on the skin. It'll pull the skin up right over that needle. Then you can pull the needle out back the other side. That's what I use pliers for. There we go. So working with this tiny little stuff is not easy. Continue on down inside here. And now that I'm down this bend right here, I'm going to go ahead and tie this off. And leave myself with just a little bit of a hole down here. That's going to allow some squeeze out with my glue. I don't want any glue puffed up right here in this little section of ear where I've got this little point. Okay, now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave this little bit of a cut right here in this. It'll also let a little bit of that glue out of there from that tip. And I'm just going to put just a few stitches on the outside edge of this, just enough to hold it together to where that glue can hold it when I put in my ear liners. Alrighty, now it's got that back together enough to where we can get an ear liner in it. Inside of this one's torn a little bit right here too. We'll put a few stitches in that, maybe just 2 or 3. I'm not going to stitch all the way up through there, just because that glue is going to hold that, and then we're going to finish up the edge also, which is kind of going to seal it back shut, keep it from coming back apart. So I'm going to space these kind of far apart, so I'm not real concerned with it. Just holding this all together with these stitches. I just want it to hold it together good enough to where that glue can dry once I put that ear liner in. Alrighty, let's get that. Tie this off. We'll make us an ear liner if I ever get a hold of this thread. I'm telling y'all, if you ain't got no patience, you want to try this, you'll get real mad. You ain't gonna find anything that's much more aggravating to work with than this stuff. Like I said, you can't see it, you can't feel it. It's just so thin. See there? Just come right out my daggum needle. Come on, baby. Yeah, there we go. All right, that is going to be good enough right now. Okay, so that's got her stitched back up. Looks nice again now. And now we're going to cut us an ear liner that's going to fit in there real nice. I've got to take this cartilage out of the back. I've already got the cartilage out of the edges right here. I'll go ahead and take the cartilage out of the back of this ear, and we'll fit up an ear liner for it. Okay, we've got the cartilage out of here removed now. Now we have to try to match this up to where that cut, this ear liner, kind of fit together best we can. The ear is actually a little bit smaller than the ear liner I've got here, which is fine because we can trim the entire thing if we have to. Notch that just a little bit, like that. And we're going to trim a little bit of this cut out of here. This is just going to kind of be trial and error. We'll test fit it a couple times till we get it to where it looks just right. May have to trim some of the outside a little bit, we'll see. Well, it's actually pretty darn close. Like almost exactly. Usually doesn't happen on the first try, but see how that held together. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of stitches in there. You can still see a little bit of the airliner right there. So what I like to do is press that glue right out there, those edges. You get that squeeze out. You can always get it out of the hair. You get good contact on the edge of those ear liners and the edge of those ears right there where that skin meets. But yeah, that looks really good. We'll go ahead and glue that in. A little bit of a hole right there we'll have to address once he's dried up, but that is no problem at all. Y'all can see that squeeze out right there? All right, that actually looks pretty dang good. Fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other airliner in. We'll start mounting this deer up. right, Jackson. There he is, brother. It's a big old awesome buck. Hope you like him as much as I do. He's gonna look really good once he's dried up. A lot better than he looks now, and I think he looks pretty good right now. Congratulations, buddy, on a great deer, and I appreciate you bringing him to me. Thanks so much for watching the channel, guys. Glad that y'all could follow along. Got the old split ear worked in. Maybe that helped y'all out a little bit of how to fix those things. And we're gonna do another video here probably in the next couple of days. I'm gonna do a video on how to stitch up the back of the neck from start to finish, show you all the knots that I use and stuff like that. So y'all stay tuned, thanks for watching, hit that subscribe button, and we will see y'all next time.